Hey there, everyone. Welcome to my channel. This is DelVecchio, and I have a very interesting interview for you today. And I'm really excited to talk about this concept of the personality code. So my interviewee today is Andrew Colombini, and he is the founder of the Personality Code Summit. And he's interviewed 28 experts on in a variety of topics related to systems that bring us deeper self-awareness. And I was grateful to be one of the speakers on this series. And so we wanted to share with you a little bit more about the power of these systems and how you might benefit from joining us during this summit, which runs from the 25th of September to October 8th. So Andrew, welcome. Thank you for joining me today.
Yes, Dawn, thanks for having me on. Looking forward to this interview and diving in.
Yeah, it's been really nice to meet you. And I know I enjoyed very much our conversation when you interviewed me about evolutionary astrology, which is my, passion for helping people to understand themselves, to really know themselves at a deep inner level. And that you interviewed many other experts in different systems. So before we dive into a little bit of that and what people can expect from the speaker series, tell us a little bit about yourself. How did you get into this? What's your background? What's your expertise? I know you have your own system that you offer your clients as well. So let us know more about that.
Great, thanks. Appreciate that. Yeah, I feel like it always starts with kind of a pain, something that's not working, and a questioning as to how do I fix this? And I don't like the situation. I want to get out of it. That was kind of for me. I realized younger that I was a little bit different. I was more shy, more quiet. Social skills weren't as easy for me. I remember looking at people and wondering, how come that person can go and just talk to anyone that they want to? And I'm over here thinking about the right thing to say. So I've always been like, just aware, like something in the back of my mind's like, something's off here. I don't feel in alignment. And it's been a long journey. I got into sales when I was young. That's when I really learned personal development and psychology. That took me down a rabbit hole of I went into transformational work, which it's called like Life Spring, MITT. And it taught me that, the subconscious mind was formed by the time we're 11. And if I have any traumas, it's unprocessed pain, and it's up to me to get it out. And so just all that work, leadership, coming from I, speaking from I, declaring my vision, it's like learning that there's a way, there's like a flow, there's a groove in life. And the way I was going, like it wasn't taught in school. It's something outside. I needed to search for something else. Things are outside of me. And I've always been fascinated about why we do what we do. And it's led me to like, in that transformational work, there's a system called the Matrix. And it's 4 personality types, which is like DISC. I thought that was really interesting. And I've always been interested in things that help us learn more about ourselves. And that had me go down the rabbit hole. Eventually, I found this program called RGP Development, and they teach many biotypes, which is actually a theory that's been around since the ancient Greeks, ancient times. It's ancient Islamic medicine with Greek Arab temperaments. It's a way of looking at the body, and 70% of who you are is your biology. That's who you are in the way you do things. So like I think in a certain way, you think in a different way. Like I love in a certain way, you love in a different way. We both express love, but in the way that we love, in the way that we do things, is more resonant with our biotype. There's 4 biotypes. You can look at people's face. Is it long? Is it square? Is it diamond? Is it heart shaped? Hand, is it square? Is it more narrow? Is it long? Is it more skinny? Wrist, can you see the vascularity? Can you not? All these little things help you identify biology, personality. And then of course, astrology came in and human design and all these other systems. I'm like, okay, hold on. There's all these systems all separate. And I was in health and wellness. That's another story. But I was in health and wellness for a long time and realized that we don't go about it holistically. I'm a brain surgeon. I'm a knee surgeon. I'm a dentist. There's not one that connects it all, and we're all connected. And my theory was like, okay, it's happening again. There's all these different systems. Where's the overlay? How either one system's wrong and one's right, or they both tell a different story, and there's like overlay. So that's essentially, what got me to where I am. Just curious, being precise with what we do.
That's great. Yeah, I definitely can relate to your the interest in personal development and the different systems that allow us to understand ourselves and others more, and different how funny it is. You can look at totally different systems, like the ones I know are more human design. Not that I'm an expert, but I've had readings. There's some personality type tests, and of course astrology, and yet they can all make sense for the individual. So as you went through and you interviewed 28 experts on for this speaker series or summit, what are some of the maybe ahas or takeaways or interesting things that you discovered in this process of speaking with all those experts?
Yeah, it's been it's a fun research project too, because it was something that I always wanted to learn about, and this was like the perfect way to, while also adding value. So what I learned is, uh, as random as we are, we have a groove in life,
Mm.
and each system has a strength. For example, uh, astrology and numerology give you this spectrum, but there's something they provide that most don't, and that's a forecast. They could
Ah,
say, right now it's Taurus season, it's the season of do. You should engage in this, maybe avoid that. Numerology, I'm in a year 5 personally, which is the year of change. So, keep that in awareness. Don't start anything, or just be in awareness of what. 6 is more for family. If you're thinking about settling down, to wait till next year to do that. That's awesome to me, because now I'm like,
yeah.
I could prepare and plan for things instead of randomly going about it. Um, Human design, my energy, like how I move through life, my strategy, that's
Mm,
just super precise. I
yes.
wait to respond. Um, Psychology is like looking at the past. I could see just by how you interact, the clothes you wear, everything. I have an idea of how you thought in your past. And so each system has their strength. And when we overlay it, it reveals this very clear path. Like, okay, I'm very clear why I'm here. I'm very clear of like what I shouldn't really engage in, what I don't really have energy for, and what's my dharma, if you will, my groove in life. What will help me achieve fulfillment? And what I've like personally, we all have an archetype on a hero's journey. Joseph Campbell, that's I believe, and I'm like the creator. I'm the innovator. I come in, I have these crazy ideas, I get downloads, I share. Like, let's say I'm in a business, I hear all the cool ideas, but I don't work on it. That the leader takes that idea and has all these other workers go and do that, and I go back into the woodworks and reinvent something new. And I come back. I'm not supposed to be like knocking on the door, hey, how you doing? Can I do that? Yes, because we could do it all. But that's the thing, and sometimes we get confused. Is we could do it all, but what's important is, does that feel in alignment? And if it
Right.
doesn't, if you feel drained, if you don't want to wake up and do your thing and something's off.
Yeah, brilliant. You're bringing up such a valuable point that I know a lot of my listeners will already be aware of, but I feel it's worth reiterating that we are all designed in certain ways, and we've all, except for maybe the really young ones on the planet who have conscious parents or conscious education, we were raised in a system that really leans toward and really presses upon us to conform to cultural norms, whatever culture you live in. Like, I'm a world traveler, so I've spent time in very different cultures than American culture, and they have their own norms. And what you see is actually what I've seen, I'll say, are those who conform because that is more their inclination, those who conform and sort of the light gets squelched out, the light of their own creative potency. And then you see those who just can't, we can't conform. We try sometimes, we fake it, we end up in crappy marriages or whatever, jobs that we don't like. And my feeling is that all of these systems have come to our awareness now, from the East, from the West, the ancient and the new downloads, the new awarenesses, in order for us all to reclaim our consciousness sovereignty and our unique creative soul essence, if you will. So a lot of the process seems to me to be right now, for those of us who are on our awakening journey now, is the unwinding, dismantling of those early programs and conditionings, and really a kind of permission slip, if you will, to allow ourselves to find out who we really are. So
Yeah.
I'm personally grateful for these systems because, of course, as an evolutionary astrologer, this is one of my services that I get to. In fact, I was just working with a client before this call. But there's a lot of systems and a lot of different ways to do it. So I feel really grateful for that. And I'm just wondering, I guess if you would like to speak into more about the system you use and maybe any client stories or examples you want to share of how that supports, how your system, it's called biotypes, supports people in their growth, their awakening, their happiness factor.
Yeah, big time. Thanks. Yeah, and it's a system I was trained in. It was, basically, it's kind of like a human design. It's different schools of thought that come to one. It's systemic psychology, Unani biotypes, ontological coaching, and personality types. And a trainer who has mad experience working with people over 15 years, like, of observation. He's a type of biotype that observes patterns and then can distill it into information to download. So basically it's actually really simple without getting into too much detail. The biotype system helps me get to the point in 15 minutes or less.
Wow. That's a big statement.
And that's the reason why, is because the guy who created it, he needed that. That was his original question, because he ran trainings of 300 plus people and people raise their hand. It's transformational, right? So it's not one-on-one. You don't have that time. It's very different. How do we give as many people transformation without it being too personal and relatable to everyone at the same time?
Fascinating.
Right? And so in the way that I speak, what I say, you could tell if I had mom in my life or I didn't have mom in my life, if I had dad in my life, if I didn't have dad, if I had both, or if I had neither.
Wow.
And one of those represents a personality type. Okay, so I'll just share one, for example. For me personally, and it's an equation too. So like, let me share my story, because this is really fascinating. And I've done a lot of work. Like, I've done the Tony Robbins all the way to the deep spiritual work. I've been in the spiritual communities for probably 5 years. I was a sound healer certified Reiki practitioner, and I worked with an energy Nikola Tesla device. But it was something that I healed with my dad unconsciously that changed everything. There is no other work, in my opinion, for my research. There's no other work except with your mom and your dad. It doesn't have to be direct. They don't have to be alive. That is the only work. Right? And so for me, I was parentalized, which means that I was too close to my mom, and I distanced myself from my dad, and that was interfering with my success. And so let's say I was speaking to me, I would ask questions. Is it a doing or is it a being? If it's doing, it means something. Oh, if I just could do that, then I'd be successful. Versus if I just was, then I would be successful. So it's like different. It each represents mom or dad. So I'm listening for that. I'm looking at their biotype. So I'm a melancholic biotype, square palm, narrow joints. You can see all the wiring and the vascularity, right? I'm the type that could eat. Most people hate me because I could eat whatever I want and I'll never put on an ounce of it. They're like, where does it go? Partly it's because I have the shortest digestive tract, and most of the energy goes right to my brain because I am a thinker, I'm an analyzer, I'm the wizard, I'm the archetypes, right? The wizard, the sage, the doctor, the engineer, that's my archetype biotypically. And so that energy I consume goes into my brain to be used. And it's a lot deep, it's much deeper than that, really exciting. But so I look at that. Okay, so I'm looking at me. So this guy is an analyzer, but he's also like not afraid of like, engaging. Typically my biotype is more quiet, sort of like shy, quiet. But I'm not like that because I have a different personality. So I'm looking, what's his biotype? What's his personality? Why would he create that personality? It's out of alignment with his biotype. He realized he needed, in order to survive growing up, his biotype wasn't enough. He needed to adopt a different personality. So I'm checking out that. Oh, that probably means we all have a core belief, one or two, and that's the root of everything. Mine, I don't believe I'm good enough. That's why I got into sales, and that's why it's hard to leave, because I need to prove my worth, that I'm good enough, that I can make money. And it's really because I wanted my dad to just acknowledge my work. That's it. And be proud of me and be like, that was an awesome, son. You did great. The catch here is, and stop me whenever you want, because I know like I'll just keep going.
This is well, it's quite fascinating. I think a lot of people are going to relate to, whatever their complex is. But yeah, fill us in a little more. So there's the personality type, there's the biotype, and what other piece comes in to
the systemic psychology. So I was parentalized, so I was stuck. No matter how much study, no matter how much I did, I would never be successful because never be successful. I know that's a statement, but that's because with my mom, when my parents divorced, I was 8. I was still forming my subconscious.
Yeah.
And essentially, my mom was like, I lost your father. I don't want to lose you. Here's money. Here's support. Here's like too much support. Don't get too successful. I don't want you to leave too. My unconscious was, okay, I'll accept it. I'll never be too successful. I'll never get myself in too much trouble that you can't get me out of. Right.
Right.
And so that was the agreement. So I'd get right here, like I was like average good. So much potential, average good. Basically, what I needed to do was I needed to push away from my mom. So stop receiving the money, learn to, be on my own, and then get closer to my dad. A healing conversation with my father. Dad, I never learned how to fill in the blank, be a man, be responsible, do. Will you teach me? And there's this whole conversation we teach or we work for clients. That's the secret sauce. But after that conversation, I'm saying, and I was in the middle of my Saturn return, right? Now here's different angles. There's different sections in our lives. Human design. I'm a 6 profile. So the first 27, 30 years of my life is one theme, and then it switches. I was in that moment, this crucial moment to heal. And if you just follow your intuition, guys listening right now, it will always line up to the systems. The intuition's on point. It's
absolutely
on point, right? But sometimes it's hard. We get convoluted. We get confused. The systems help us stay on track. After I tried everything to heal. Why can I be successful? I've asked everyone. I've studied everything. I could not figure it out. Healed with my dad, and my luck changed. The energy. And when I say luck, it's because the manifestation. My manifestation practice, this is the thing, you guys, like I was doing the manifestation practice. I was sitting, focusing on what I believe, but because I didn't heal with my dad, I actually didn't believe it. And it's not what we think. There's the conscious mind, the subconscious mind. Subconscious runs the show. What I actually believed is I can't do it. I don't have the skill set. I won't succeed. And once I healed with my dad and realized that my dad actually loved me the whole time, and he was actually in my life, and it was my interpretation, because that's how psychology works. I shifted that. Oh, that's just my dad. My dad he just isn't always emotional and blah, blah, blah. And I know his biotype, which he's the least emotional, which has more compassion for him. And I shifted everything, changed everything. I feel loved. Like I'm not kidding you. I didn't do anything. I didn't do anything differently. I would say I'm doing things less, and more abundance is coming in because I healed that frequency was out of alignment, and I got it back in synchronicity.
Well, this is brilliant, and I know you said a couple things here. I do want to pivot to one other question in a moment, but I know you said that you can do this whether your parents are there or not,
Yeah.
and that this in this case definitely begs the question, because a lot of the people in my community are older as well, and they'll be like, "Well, that's great, but my dad passed 30 years ago,"
Right.
or whatever. So this conversation you talked about, this is something that can be had perhaps in a journaling, or like what's the process if the adult, or for whatever reason the parent cannot be there?
That's hard because it's kind of a trade secret. I signed an
Okay.
NDA that
Okay, no problem.
I can't personally share like the little techniques. If you guys are
Got it.
interested, like I would say go to rgpdevelopment.com, check that out.
Okay.
Um,
But
but
it is possible,
but
in
it's
other
possible.
words.
You don't
Yeah.
need that. What I'm also saying is you don't need it. I can't say like step by step by step just because
Right.
of all that stuff for
Sure.
now, but it's possible. I'm sure there's other routes. And the
Yeah.
biggest thing is like, um, okay, I'll just say something that's not going to get me in trouble. I hope you would write a letter.
Yeah.
So you'd
Okay.
write a letter to them, basically saying, like
Well,
you'd write a letter.
you're
That's how you
expressing
do
the
it.
unspoken needs and opening a door for
Right.
healing in that way.
Right.
Beautiful. Great.
Exactly. And then the last
Well,
thing you would say, can you teach me like the thing that you didn't get from your mom or your dad that you really wanted? Can you teach me? And that's something that you need to look at your life. That's why working with a coach is amazing, because they'll be able to spot it. It's hard for us to see our own
yeah.
stuff because our ego is great at creating a wall.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Wow. Well, thank you so much for really informing us about this modality, because I don't think it's as well known as some of the other ones. And again, you've interviewed a lot of experts in this. So I guess I would like to complete our conversation today with asking you, what would you say to those who are watching this about why they should attend the Personality Code Summit? What might they expect to walk away with?
mhm. I believe everyone on this planet is supposed to live an exciting, fulfilled, purposeful journey.
Mhm.
The hero's journey. Each and every one of us is a hero. We all have a journey.
Yeah.
And it's up to us to figure that out. What's our groove? And if you guys are watching and you feel like something's wrong, like I took a wrong turn, or how did I end up in this situation? I thought I was going to be, oh, there's got to be more out there for me. You just want something different. You want to wake up excited. You want to wake up on purpose. That's why I think you should join the show. And it's just one step. Just one
Beautiful.
step. Learn more about yourself. Get clear. There's me. There's 28 other experts, including Don, that are here to help you on your journey. If you feel a calling, this is the message. This is your calling. This is the message. The call to action on your journey. Joseph Campbell, look him up. The call to action. You guys are getting the call right now. And there's a show available for you guys to watch for free. You can get 28 interviews and a Facebook group doing lives. I'm doing lives in there as well.
Oh,
You can ask
great.
your questions. So
Beautiful.
it's up to you guys. We're here for you.
Great. Thank you. Thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us about this today, Andrew. And I want to encourage everyone who's watching this to go ahead and check out. I'll put the link in the comment or the information box below this video. And you can go, and it is free. I presume there's probably an option to purchase if it looks interesting to you, but at least attend so that you can find out more of these systems and which ones resonate with you that can serve you on your journey. Thank you again. Thank you, Andrew. Everyone, have a blessed day, and we'll see you again on another video.
Yeah.